Chip, what's your last name?
Horrible.
Harlow, thank you, mental block.
I was trying to think of something smart else to say.
No, I thought you had
Chip
that
the joke.
smart ass. No need to confuse me, I'm already confused.
Okay, since we're in session, if we can quietly give people papers as they come along.
The second one?
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. Everybody in favor to open?
I'll second it.
Thank
I'll
you.
second it, if someone second it.
Okay, what I'd like to do first is follow the agenda, the sign-up sheet's going around.
I got it.
Okay, and let's do the minutes first, because there's some other stuff that we really have to go over. And so let's kind of follow the protocol this time. So if you can read the minutes that, from last week, and we can,
Okay. I have a change already.
okay,
It was mentioned that Skip thought it was about 35 cents a gallon that we would save by using the card. It's
Yeah.
actually somewhere around 56 cents.
56?
Well, that's full.
The
Federal.
state and
Right.
federal.
Wow.
56 cents a gallon.
So should I put that under the minutes? I can't change the minutes from last meeting, right?
We can change our own.
Oh, right.
We'll change our own.
That still depends on, if they're using the charge cards, and the
Right.
federal's automatic.
Right.
Right,
So it's 50 instead
State
of
has to apply
35?
Yeah, 56. It's about
56
cents.
instead of
So
35.
you point
Yes,
56,
state and
if
federal.
we all the time use the charge card, we get point 56. Thank you. That works for me.
Well, it changes, but that's what it is.
Yeah,
At present, you know,
Okay.
every year they change it, so.
Okay.
I wasn't here, so I have no corrections to offer.
You can do double next week.
I was here last week too.
Is
Did
that-
I not put you on? You were here.
Actually, that's the form to the state.
I
You have to
sometimes miss
fill out
people.
the-
Thank you.
Okay, I'll put you on.
Bruno was here.
Yes.
Pretty
Plus
close.
was here.
Add Bruno to the people at
I'm
the,
sorry.
add Bruno to the,
Oh,
to the president.
Oh, this is really easy to do. Pass it around, so we can look at it.
Because this, well, this would have been,
but if
that's the
you,
last one that I turned into the state.
Oh,
Never
really?
got paid, but it's the last one I turned in.
Oh,
but if you
To the
use
second,
the,
to the treasurer.
you use that wax card, it comes back.
Who's
You
this,
don't even
who
have
is
to
this
fill out
for?
paperwork.
Anybody?
State,
I didn't know, state and federal?
state didn't,
Just federal.
state have to do your own.
Oh, this is,
Oh, you did.
there are all the numbers in here.
This is another pass out as we're going along. Let's continue with the same thing we had.
How are you doing the minutes?
Yeah.
Here.
Oh,
We're
it's
reading.
in.
Yeah, we're reading them, right.
Should we read them, Judy?
Can't you read two things at once?
Since Judy wasn't here, she
I
had
can
nothing to
barely
offer.
read one thing at once.
So since Judy doesn't have anything to offer, we're gonna keep talking, right, Judy?
Oh, oh, oh. Who's Tommy?
The town is exempt
Time
from
to
this.
turn on the road.
The town's exempt from sales tax.
It's not sales tax,
No.
It's fuels tax.
it's fuel tax.
Aren't we exempt on that one too? No?
You have to apply for it. If you don't, you don't get it.
Oh, hasn't somebody already?
I used to, it hasn't been done since I turned it last.
Well, I was just wondering if maybe there was one through the secretary's office.
Just to bring up
Because I
a,
turned it over to her, that last one that went by,
Okay,
and she was supposed to get rescues, but it never went through, because it never got ended in, so.
so is this something you guys would like me to look into?
Has to be done at least every 12 months, after 12 months. you're-
oh, yeah, that would be nice,
But I
yeah.
think that's the advantage of.
Now, I see on here that Sean recommends that Tommy meet weekly with the
Yeah, I'll
town
find out,
treasurer.
because some of the stuff we don't have to.
got it right.
Okay,
I'm not sure which, so
And
okay.
then he sees the invoices that go directly to the town office.
anybody else, if I know.
I have been told, just, you don't have to write anything, but I was told that he does see them. Just so you know.
Because he said he didn't.
I
I'm
know.
sorry, I
He
missed
said
that.
he didn't?
He said he did.
When Torno said that he doesn't see the invoices, and
There's some discrepancy with that.
apparently she was
Whatever.
told he does.
Oh, sneak right in there. Some of them know all this paper.
So I,
Where's that whole, can you pass that?
somebody
There's a
needs
whole
to
bunch
be
of
department.
We need this. You know what, you don't forget
Hi, Sean. How are you?
I'm here.
That's
Bye.
good. That's good.
There's a little sense of normalcy in my life.
That's good. We're glad to see you.
Okay.
All I have is, we're missing some pages
Are
for sure.
2 minutes?
Yeah.
I'm missing a whole book.
You can get a copy.
Can you hand some minutes?
Jordan said he's working on it.
Yeah, we have
I
money.
think that should do it, but
Yeah, you want to
No, I just wanted to make sure Jerry got a copy.
Right, right,
This is
yeah.
Jewish.
You guys were reading, we're reading,
That's all I have.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know.
pretty good. Alright, so we could-
If we can get through the minutes, that'd be great.
Okay, did you get your minutes? You guys?
Does everybody have them, by the way?
No.
Would you like some gold?
There are a bunch here. Does everyone have them?
I don't think there's a bunch, I think there's two. I gave one.
Oh, you gave one, okay.
Corinna, I think had one. He
Okay,
has
there's one left.
Okay.
Do you have this?
Sign
Yep,
it.
I'm on it. Okay.
Make sure it comes back to me. Because constantly.
So the only corrections I saw were corrected, so.
Okay.
The others I didn't have any idea about. Becky. Oh, that's 60. I don't know if this is.
Those are the target dates.
Oh, those are target dates?
Yes, we're having these done. There is, they did say there was an alternate date of March 24th.
We will
for us
finish you something.
Instead of the
Instead of-
27th.
When we get this,
That's this one?
paperwork.
No, it's this one here, it's not in the budget committee.
Oh, okay.
It's on order, so we can have until the 24th,
Oh, okay, instead of February 27th, until March 24th.
but it would be more comfortable for you guys if we.
You want to see which one that is?
No.
Feel free to take up as much space as you need.
Really, I think that we should start replanting. And sure, I'm feeling guilty.
Does anyone have any questions on the minutes? Changes?
No, I think you did great.
And this one is
Two changes.
same thing?
It says here, it was recommended that we meet with the town treasurer every week to go over line items and purchase orders, pension, and 2 days.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's
I'm
the
not
way
worried
to
about
go.
it. Do you want that changed?
I don't want to change, because it's what we recommended.
No, I meant
52 cents.
what two places else.
That's huge.
Okay, does anyone wanna approve the minutes?
About how many gallons of fuel has
Judy
Judy
was kind of in charge of this.
I asked that
You
question.
have that?
No, there weren't enough copies.
So she didn't get any copies?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, let's do one thing at a time here. Let's
Yeah.
approve the minutes.
As we go through them,
Approve the minutes.
we'll make a copy.
Yeah, I just said that, we'll get them some paperwork when we get to it. Does anyone, may I make a motion to accept the minutes?
As corrected or as written?
All right.
As corrected or as written.
As written,
Oh, yes, okay.
that's corrected.
That's correct.
As written, right.
Okay.
Because
Corinne will write it,
Because
as we put corrected.
That's right.
Yeah, all in favor?
Oh,
I got you. I'm here.
Geez, I'm glad you got my back. Alrighty, we don't have any special committee reports, but I think the best thing,
Do you have any special committees?
no, we don't. We may have to have them, but we can have them yet. So let's move right on to old business. All right, in old business, one of the first things that I know that we have an answer for actually is that the Conservation Commission, that was 150 will have to come out of there and they'll have to do it in a different way. So the 150 will be coming out, I think we can take it out of our budgets, we'll be passing, it'll be 150 less if we pass it, but, okay, so the 150 comes out. That's good, I got that situated. The other thing that is old business, is we're not getting budgets done by, the selectmen are not doing budgets. There are none that they have done for us for tonight. Having that happen and with the crunch that's on, what I thought we could do is to just go over some budgets that probably will not have many, if any, changes and are the small ones, so that we don't have to just sit here. I don't mind sitting here and banging them out after they do, but they're not getting anywhere at this point. So, I'm very concerned about that, and I don't know what's gonna be done about it. I don't know what's gonna be done about it. Three of us were at the selectmen's meeting the other night, they were supposed to do some budgets, but unfortunately, there were some disagreements, and, they were not able to continue with any budgets.
Is this the White House?
I don't believe there is there a meeting set up to do budgets? A time?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
I mean, there probably would be on Monday night, but I'm not sure yet. We'll try and get something on there.
Okay. Having said that, I still feel that we need to go through these before they do.
That's what we always
I don't know what else, I don't know what else to do. Has anybody got any ideas? You were at the meeting, Rebecca, you were at the meeting. Do you have any comments or anything you'd like to add or solutions to our problem? Anybody, I'll take it from anybody, but they were there, so they might be able to help.
Karina had her hand up.
I didn't see her.
Oh, you didn't?
You didn't?
I was waving the bed. Sean had his hand up, so, no way.
Sorry.
I spent some time yesterday going over the highway budget and making some suggestions for how it could be revamped. And I pulled the supplies out, so I thought that maybe we could, look at how that could be reorganized and send some direction to, Jordan about what we're looking
I would
for.
like to see. I think that's great. If we can get copies now of that, so everyone can take a look,
Sure.
and,
So we need.
yeah, we need copies for everybody anyways.
Okay.
Dana, you want a copy too,
You might
right?
want to see one.
I don't know, if you can read.
I'm not an accountant, I don't claim to be, I just did the best I could do.
Well, any
with
suggestion
minimal.
is worthwhile looking at, believe me.
So I thought that would be a good use of our time.
That's what I used to do with buying with the fire department, but I broke the accounts down and we had more accounts at the time too. With the treasurer, but that's what I had in mind. And I broke like the supplies, so they're all broke into different categories, the same, same idea, you're
Well, that's kind of what I.
talking
yeah.
about, same thing, so that's great.
From what it sounds like,
Are you done?
Well, I think it's important, this is a little hard to process, so, headings and bullets are probably really friendly things to do, make them easier to, process.
That was basically,
I would, what I'd like to do is for us to take that home and study it.
And
No,
it's
that's
just
similar to what I've done, you see,
Same thing.
yeah.
Okay, did you have something
I
to
did.
add? Thank you.
Also at the selectmen's meeting on Monday night, Betty mentioned the payroll taxes and that we were kind of not in agreement with them using a flat 8%. And Jordan did agree along with the selectmen to put it to the correct amount and give us those numbers too, so we should be getting those.
Now, with that, because I wasn't able to attend Monday, mentioning the payroll tax, did you mention each individual department that was found in? Because there were a few different departments.
I went through all of them too, and all, the small ones didn't seem to have it, it was a big budget.
I found it in, and bear with me, I don't have my notes
No,
with
go
me,
ahead.
so. It was in the library budget, it was
Yes.
in the rec department, it was in the fire department, it was in the transfer station. And I believe it was on CEO as well. Now, the thing about CEO that was kind of funky to me as well is it looks like that payroll tax line was only accounting for Mike's wages, but not deputy CEO wages.
I wondered about that.
Same thing on fire.
Yeah.
So again, it's a
When
question
I,
about,
I'll interject, I actually went through and tabbed up everything for payroll, from fire chief down through all the different services. That payroll line was closer, but it was based off of that 8% as opposed to the 7.65. So I did include the deputy, the wages matched up.
So will he refigure that and give us
Well,
copies of
well,
it?
I can go in and say, these are the ones that we found, and make sure that he did change them all. He said he looked at them
Well,
all,
we'll get
but
copies
I
and-
will go in and make sure that it gets done.
That should change the bottom line a lot.
Some of them it could, some of them it could change, just not, not a lot, I mean, $500.
I think it, overall, out of all the departments, it's anywhere between $1,700 and $1,800. Difference.
The big ones.
Right.
Just as a whole, that's the total, if you look at all these departments, what you're looking
Yeah.
as over,
Okay,
Overcall.
yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so he said he is addressing it, and I'll go in and make sure.
Okay.
If you give me those, we've got them all written down, right, that Sean found. I think those are the same ones, I don't have my list here. You got the list that Sean just gave you of the departments that he found them in?
No.
Oh.
Department.
Could you give me a list?
I spewed them out.
Oh, okay, I didn't get that.
CEO,
Yeah.
transfer station. I'll let you catch up again. Fire EMS. I said rec department and library. And CEO was a really funky one again because of that deputy CEO versus just regular. That would actually make Mike's budget go up because it was unaccounted for correctly.
It would,
Yes, not by much, but
but, you know, so it's
Is
correct.
it wrong also on the highway budget?
Oh, yeah.
yes, that's,
Okay,
that was the other
highway
one.
too.
Sorry, again, I don't have my.
I'll go
So
on.
basically, the budgets that we've done are pretty much.
Now, there were
to be correct.
There were some that were fine, you know. I would-
Word.
Yeah, there was planning board that was okay. There was,
We don't have any payroll.
Some
Well,
were a dollar here and a dollar there.
they stayed the same as last year, so. it's-
yeah, exactly. So there was nothing to.
Yeah, there was nothing to change.
And yeah, because I remember when we had originally met about the highway department, the number we had was completely different than what Tommy had on his sheet. So again, that might have been a thing, just a hiccup.
I mean, I think we've gone over and over for years. We have gone over this highway department at nauseam, trying to get things straightened out. And we have yet to have got into the big dark hole, as Jerry calls it. And, thank you very much. We have,
You just pass it
I
around.
think we have to almost sit and have him come back after they fix whatever they're fixing and see if we can do it again.
Well, I think it goes back to what I said last week. He needs to meet with the treasurer once a week for accounting purposes to make sure everything's getting put in proper budget lines, because otherwise he can't budget properly.
I hear what you're saying, and, he said he will,
I don't know.
once a week. I think once a week is more than
Well,
enough for him at this point in time, only because it takes time away from the highway, then he's here.
I can understand that, but I'm gonna say I disagree a little bit because Tommy had also mentioned to us that he's not seeing some of his invoices and everything else.
Well, there's another side to that story.
I'm sure there is.
No, a completely different side. That's why I'm saying I think once a week, after this kind of gets straightened out, may be sufficient. Because both, it's one side saying one thing and one side saying another. So someplace in between, they both know that they have to do it and get together on it. And I think that hopefully will suffice.
Did you say once a week?
I think once a week would be good.
I had a conversation with Ben today while we were at the fire station, and he said that, I don't know if I should even say this, but he said that this has already been done when he was selectman, and that somehow it's gotten undone. Am I right, Ben?
More clarification before I answer that. What has been done?
The organizing of the budget so that it didn't have so many black holes and confusion.
It's been an ongoing issue in years past, as I kind of said last week. It's been a constant battle, constant struggle, but
All the categories are there, they're just not being used.
They're
correct.
not being put in the right categories.
Right.
Yes.
So that's an issue.
But they're all there.
But there was also changes to be made in the last couple of years. I'm sorry,
Okay.
that wasn't it.
Let's just one person at a time, please. Thank you. So, they need more categories, that's for sure. They need to put them in the right category. I think we did we were able to get that far in that meeting, weren't we, to say that? I'm not trying to go back at it. I think we did get that point across, that the categories we need better spread out to it in order to, just tighten things up a bit.
This is a lot of typing.
Yeah. Is there anything else out of that meeting that either one of you want to bring up?
Would this be a good time, to talk about the forms?
I missed a big one.
That's when I was just gonna bring
Yeah,
that back.
you can,
That's
okay. Chip was can tell us, the forms, there was a problem with the forms, which actually started everything.
Yeah,
Started the whole problem.
so the forms that you have in front of you, any of the budget forms, the format is the same that we've used for several years, but it was brought up, there's a budget committee column there that was brought up in the question. So I thought I would help clarify that whole thing about these forms. So the format of the forms has been working that way for at least 3 years. I think it started with Karen and you, and Jeanette put them together. It actually is a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet. Trio can actually do it, but Jeanette, I don't think, knew how to do that, how to get Trio to do it. So Jeanette manually had the spreadsheets on her computer, I believe. And so she would have to manually put this data in from the expense reports. She would fill it out and give it to us. And so I've actually done one here, but essentially the columns that you should have from the left going to the right. And what happens is that every year, everything shifts to the left, because you have a new year. So, and you don't need to have budgets, what was budgeted and actual every single year. Because at some point, what was budgeted doesn't matter, what really matters is the actual. So, this form that you have in front of you should have on the left, the first column should be 2014, fiscal 14. So fiscal is the year that it ends. So 13, 14, however you want to say it, but fiscal 14, actual. Then fiscal 15, actual. Then fiscal 16, budget. Fiscal 16, actual, because that year is complete. On none of these forms do you show what he actually spent in fiscal 16, which just ended this past June.
I approve.
So you have the expense sheets there, but normally you would see it right here on the form. So that,
I had all that calculated out.
and so Jordan would have to go take all the expense sheets that he's given you, take the numbers and plug them in here for each of the departments. Because that's what Jeanette did. Everything got moved over. Okay, so you got 15, you have fiscal 16 budget and actual, so you can see what the budget was, the actual. 17, what the current year is, that's what we're in now, what the budget was. So that's the one that was just working on. I personally have done these spreadsheets for 10, 15 plus years. On my personal spreadsheets, I actually have a column that says estimated expended. So I'll actually look at the current year, it's only a half a year, and I'll look, if it's a payroll, I'll go, okay, what's 2 times that? Boom, I'll throw that number in there. That's just for me so I can get an idea of where they're at. Are they gonna be under, or are they gonna be over? Because this is not my rocket science, this is MMA's rocket science. This is how Augusta, this is how they teach a course in budgeting, this is what they teach. And the spreadsheet is what they teach. I actually got it from the manager in Augusta, or one of those places, way back when. So you have 17 budget, and then you have 18, you have 18 department requests, so that's like what you guys are dealing with today. You have 18 normally budget committee recommends, and then you have another column that's the selectmen. And the reason you have those 3 columns is the way it normally works is the department heads do their budgets. Okay, about the only department heads that we have here that ever do their budgets that I know of are the chiefs. Skip used to do his own budget, and our chief is doing it, but everybody else doesn't seem to tend to do it. But the department heads are normally, it's their department head. They're in charge of their department, they do their budget by themselves. They can get direction from the selectmen, hey, we don't want budgets to go up at all, we're looking to cut budgets, we're looking to go up by no more than 5%, something, they can get direction. But the department head normally does their budget, then they bring it to the budget committee, the budget committee goes through it, they put down their recommendation, it may be the same, it may be higher, it may be lower, and then those 2 columns go to the selectmen, for the selectmen then to decide, okay, we got 2, why is it different, blah, 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 they can come up with their own number. And that's the number that goes on the ballot. But that's in essence how this town hasn't done that. They've
No,
never-
it used to.
Did it? Way back up?
It used to go to the budget committee first.
Yeah, so,
It should do.
but for a lot of times, and so, but right now the budget committee doesn't. So it normally goes to the selectmen first, they come up with their number, it comes to us. If we disagree, and a lot of times the selectmen are here, they'll change it right on the spot. So it agrees, but that's,
Which is wonderful.
that's essentially how, so what you
And our job
have.
is done.
What you have, and so what he did is he just added this current year to the end. He just added a column, threw that in the end, and that was it. Because he doesn't, I'm not blaming him, he hasn't done this before. And he had no turnover as far as how to do the budget sheets.
Oh, sure.
The treasurer that was training him had never done this because it was Jeanette, and Jeanette left. So nobody gave him any guidance on how to do this. But he's got to move the data over and create and make everything 18. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's how,
So is he gonna do that?
well, and again, that's up to you guys to relay this. If you want me to talk to Jordan, I'm more than willing, give me a buzz. I can talk to Jordan, Ben can talk to Jordan, somebody, you understand it,
I would be willing to go with.
you understand
along with
it,
me.
that's fine, I'm just saying,
And
that's-
I only say that because they've said that the chairman should go, and
Yeah.
would you
But
go with me?
yeah.
Well, not only
But-
that, you'll
but-
know what's going
But
on.
understand, that the treasurer doesn't work for the budget committee, the treasurer works for selectmen.
That's
So it
correct.
doesn't matter what you guys want the
No,
treasurer to do, he's
but I
gotta get, the
can't-
treasurer's gotta get his direction.
It's in a different situation, it was kind of determined that it'd be, when the budget committee has a question or something, I would be the one to go to him. The other thing that I just wanted to add to your presentation, and thank you very much for explaining it, because it's been very, very helpful,
Makes a lot more
is that
sense.
we now can, by our ordinance, we now can actually put on the budget our recommended amount.
Well,
Go ahead,
so yes and no.
okay,
You can always have your number,
okay.
but there's nothing that says that your number's gonna be on the ballot.
No, we know that.
Right.
So your number,
We can actually put that question on,
No,
yes,
this-
we can.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
the
can.
new
No,
ordinance
yes,
is
the
much
ordinance
better.
says we
The
can.
ordinance says
Huh?
we can.
The new ordinance.
on the
Yeah,
ballot,
yeah.
it says you can have your own number, it doesn't say you can put it on the ballot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
I didn't read that, okay.
Yeah, it
Does it
really
actually say that
does.
you can put it on the ballot?
Well, only if they've come to loggerheads with the
Right,
select board.
Right,
and
if
say, you
there's
know,
no,
They
You
can't.
gotta try to work it out, but.
Does it actually say ballot? I would just double check.
Yeah,
that.
I'll check.
When I read it, I didn't
Let
see
me get
ballot.
you
I
one.
did see that you can, if you can't come to a concurrence, you can come up with your own number. I saw
Yes,
that.
that in case of failure of concurrence.
Yep.
The budget committee may submit to the annual town meeting its own recommendation for a department.
That's the meeting, not the ballot.
But that is our meeting.
But my point is
Well,
that
I
that's
hear what
not,
you're saying.
it's a fine line, it's maybe it's semantic. What I'm saying is you can have a number that you bring up to the public meeting, and you can say, this is what we recommended. but I didn't see anywhere where on there that it says you can actually put a
Well, it
separate
says
number
to the
on the
annual
ballot.
town meeting, which is
Which
the
is,
ballot.
which is your ballot.
Yeah.
So we're.
I
What's
don't
your,
know whether it's
what's
semantics, I just,
Maybe
what you're
it's
thinking
totally
is
separate.
an informational meeting.
so,
I don't know, they wrote it.
How would that go on?
Used to
Would that
raise
go
your
on as
hand
a
and
separate,
vote.
like-
yeah, no, I know.
No.
Question? Yeah, it'd have to be a separate question.
No, under the same
Goes
question.
under the
Under the
same
same question, two
It would
options.
just be two.
Selectmen
different
recommend, budget
amounts.
committee recommended.
Right.
But how do you vote, what does the town vote for? That's,
Well, you
that's the
vote
problem.
for-
What if they vote for, what if you get in favor of both of them? I mean, it's a nightmare.
Let me tell you about where the place I work. The selectmen have a recommendation, there's a little circle there, you can choose that. The budget committee has a recommendation. We have a citizens option meeting where the citizens, if there enough people show up, can have their own option, or it's none of all. So where I work,
Multiple
they have
choice?
4 circles they could fill in.
Wow.
How does that work out?
It's like ranked choice.
Yeah, well, it's not, it hasn't, last year was the first year, it wasn't bad. I mean, and if the budget committee and selectmen agreed, then their line would go on the
That's
same
right.
line, say budget committee and whatever, but, and we only had one citizen thing on one ballot, but there's they can have 4.
Wow.
Which is,
Multiple choice.
oh my
That's
God.
scary.
Okay, having said that,
I mean, generally, the budget committee is in agreement.
Let's-
I have a question for Chip. So back to the budget sheet, where it says 2016-17 budget committee, it's blank.
Yes, it is.
So 16-17 budget committee, so this,
That's where we would put our number.
this is the current year. So see, so this is actually, this isn't 18, so see, that's because I'm saying, you never change this number. This should be changed to 17-18. This should
That's
be-
what I thought, okay.
So in other words, this should be 17-18, this one should be 17-18 with nothing there.
Right.
Okay,
This one should be gone, because that we're doing here, the request should be over here. Request 17-18.
17, 18.
See,
Okay.
all the 16-17 should be everything should be shifted
Okay.
over one.
Okay, so this
And
column is
this,
just.
and what, because what he did is he just left it the same and added this column.
Oh, because it's the same as over here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Actually, the trio thing that Chip was talking about
Thank
is
you.
wonderful.
And that's actually, it's actually,
Is it really?
from an
Yeah.
accounting standpoint, it's actually better, and it should be done that way.
Yeah.
I had an issue, I never brought it up, but I had an issue
Oh.
with manual data, because anytime you have manual data, you're entering, you're allowing somebody to make a mistake, an honest mistake. But you're also allowing them to hide numbers. So they can throw whatever number in there they
No,
want.
I kept saying I don't like Trio. That wasn't even Trio that I didn't like. It was the way they were doing it. I thought they were using Trio.
No, that's not.
Apparently
No,
not.
that's an Excel. I don't have any
You
idea.
can export from
I thought they
Trio
were.
into a spreadsheet that does it, so that's, she didn't do
Oh,
that,
I
she didn't know how to
thought
do
they
that
used
function.
Trio. I thought they used
And so she
Trio.
did it manually, which is better than nothing, but
Well, it would make.
Okay, that we've gone through, thank you very much, that was very helpful. Anything you wanted to say about the meeting? I think you, well,
Yeah, well, I was going to bring up this, but I just did not, there was another thing too, but I'll, in between.
Okay,
if I
that's
can
fine.
remember it.
the other thing I think is probably needs to be brought up is that Royce believes that for us to go over these budgets without them going over the first is an illegal meeting. Would you like to tell us something about how you feel about that?
No, because I don't know for sure if it is or not, any more than any of the rest of you do. I haven't had a chance to find out yet.
I don't know what you mean,
So-
an illegal meeting.
Well, we're not following the usual protocol that we do. Usually the selectmen go over these budgets first and then they hand us the budget committee.
Right, okay, you would,
That's my whole question.
earlier, you
But that
let Laura
changed.
and I believe that you felt it was an illegal, that we were holding an
It
illegal
could be.
meeting.
It could be.
Okay.
No, it always used to be the budget committee got it first.
Okay.
I gotta get a legal
That-
lawyer's
that
opinion
kind
on
of
that,
clears
if you
it
don't
for-
mind, really.
Okay.
Well, you can,
You want us to continue?
We don't really have any.
I think we should just continue.
All right, is everyone in agreement of continuing with the budgets that you have in your hand tonight to kind of go over them and discuss them, and that way we can kind of move on and they can catch up with us. And if we have to discuss them again, fine, we can bring them up, but at least we'll have the initial discussion and it might go a little bit faster.
Uh,
Uh,
So I make a motion, we continue.
And I'll second it.
all in favor?
Okay.
All right.
All right, is everyone in agreement of continuing with the budgets that you have in your hand tonight to kind of go over these budgets with Okay, great. The other thing that was brought up is that I try and get the meetings over with, and I guess I kind of think, people look antsy sometimes, and I'm like, let's get through it. But, there's other people that feel that we should just stay here until we're done. I'd like to know how everyone really feels about how we should time our meetings. Should we time it? How long should we actually go? I just want your input so that I'm doing what the majority would like. Sean?
I'll just say from my experience with planning board and through doing this, we try to rush through things, but personally I feel if we have questions, there's going to be questions.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we take our time and actually let each individual ask their question, maybe keep the back conversations aside, conversations to a limit, we could probably speed things up. But honestly, I look at some of even my planning board meetings where we've gone 2.5, 3 hours in detailed conversation.
Right.
It needs to happen in order for us to really do our job effectively.
Judy?
I think that some nights it's gonna be like that.
Okay.
We'll just have to keep going until
Is
the
everyone
budget's
in
done.
agreement to stay until we're done?
Absolutely.
But I also feel
Yes?
that we may
Just
have
too long, I
nights
just
like
leave.
tonight where it won't take so long, because we're
Right.
gonna do these little budgets. Yeah, it won't.
Yeah, so, is everyone in agreement? Well, I'll make a motion that we, continue the meetings until we're done. If somebody does have to leave for whatever, any reason whatsoever, feel free to say so, and we just have to have should have a quorum. We should have a quorum. So, I'll make the motion to continue the meetings until we're done.
I have one thing to say, though. I think that Sean's right, we need to curtail all
Yes, we
side
do.
conversations.
We're all
And-
guilty.
And at the beginning of the meeting, like tonight, we were shuffling papers. I would like to get that done before we begin the meeting.
We can come at 6.
Either that or start the meeting when the shuffling is done.
I tried that too.
Yeah.
We've kind of tried it every way, and it seems like somebody always comes in later, and
That's
we're
true.
banging and
That's
shuffling
true.
again.
Well, that wouldn't work even if we have it at 6, because the people that come in later
Come in later
aren't able to
anyway.
get here earlier, probably.
Maybe we could just do their papers for them.
That's a good idea.
That would be a good
I think that's a good idea.
It would. Will you back to my
No,
house?
seriously, that's what we used to do. You just put their name on it.
Yeah,
Does everybody
I think
come
that's what
late?
we're going to have to do. I would agree to come at 6.
I can.
Okay.
Usually
no
come
issue with
at 6.
Yeah, okay. So I'll make sure that I'm here at 6, and somebody.
And we don't have to open the meeting at 6, we can get
No,
all
we
this
can get all
stuff
this,
done.
and get the packets together. I
Right.
think, because they're not put in packets anymore, it's quite a shuffle, I found.
Well, they used
Thank
to
you for
be,
your help.
they used to do it for us.
Yes, they did. So I made the motion.
I'll second
All in favor? Ellen, not in favor? You
Oh,
need-
sorry, I'm in favor.
I know you're in favor. She's a
Multitasking.
So will there be a packet down there for Jerry and I tonight?
Who's second?
You got them, we gave them to you.
it. No, she didn't get them all, because there weren't enough.
No, weren't enough.
There weren't enough
Can you,
copies.
does Jerry have one?
No, I think when we go through them, can we do that?
We got, the only thing we got.
Can you
was-
share for the moment, please?
We just got the.
Can you share for the moment until we get the copies done?
Just write down what you don't have copies of.
And we'll make it.
How do we know?
We-
How do we write it down? We don't know what we don't have.
Because we're gonna go over them, aren't we?
Yes,
We're going over them tonight.
if you can just share what, for the moment, and then tell us what you need, and we'll make it at that time. You have, because there's some there, and there's 2 of one, and
Yeah.
And that way, if somebody's not here, we can save their staff for them.
that's true.
Right.
We used to be able to go pick it up.
I keep forgetting to
Early.
do that.
I mean, as long as we
They're not
have,
doing that for us anymore? Why not?
Why they aren't picking up? We don't have them.
Oh.
That's why. Hello?
Earth to you.
We don't have one.
The budget.
Okay, under old business now, I think we're gonna have, we mentioned the transfer station, I think we're gonna have to go back through that again. But Laura has something that she,
That I passed out.
That she
If
passed
you all
out.
got it. This paper, the invoice, remember we were talking about the highway
oh,
department?
okay, cool.
No.
I don't have that.
Read Judy.
you're in charge of papers. I've never bought this paper. Okay.
We need another one.
11 sheets.
We need two more.
No, I only know. That's all I got.
I'm not giving this one up.
So I went and we were talking about invoices and there was questions whether somebody got paid double and other things like that. Anyway, so I went and got an invoice that I paid for myself, just so we're clear. And I made copies at my own copier at home. And this was the invoice, this is one of the ones we were talking about, for Tom Torno. It was on 10/16, all three of these entries.
Oh,
And, as you can see, the account numbers that were written by the road commissioner, just so you can see that. And those were the things, like on page 15 of the expense report, there was the patching, and that came out of, I guess that's the patching account. And then, haul stumps, there were two entries, one right underneath each other. So, that was just an example to show you that they pass these in once a week. So, you know, it could have been down further, he could have been sanding, he could have been plowing, he could have whatever, and it, you know, would be the same day, the same check number, because the check number's listed there. So I just, you know, wanted to kind of explain that's what the highway department passes in, is a sheet like this, and then Tommy gets them a road commissioner, and he puts the account on them, where they're to come out of, and
so it does have a little more control than we thought.
well, I know, this is the one we were talking about, so that's the one I went and got a copy of, so it would show, yes.
Sorry. So, I just want to make something clear. So patching, excavation, well, I guess this is excavation hauling. So patching and excavation hauling, in this instance, went under the same line item, or they went under two separate
Well,
items?
if you look,
I'm trying- yeah,
under
I'm trying to
patching,
figure
the
out where.
360130, and I think that's 67.
Oh, yeah,
That's
okay, I see
patching.
it.
So
Yeah.
that came out of patching. And then the other two excavation haul stumps was 360130 and 44.
Okay.
But they were in the lines twice, but they were done on different dates.
I see.
You know what I mean? It said
Yeah.
10/6.
But the check was 10,
Because when he
10/6.
puts it in the system, that's the
the
date.
check.
That's the date number, so he can't put 9/26 under where the check date is, because there's only one line there. It's the date, it's the entry,
Okay.
it's whatever.
So, I remembered the other thing, and once we're done with that, I can tell you. And that's it.
Go ahead.
So the other thing that we talked about at the selectmen's meeting with Jordan was designating between Tom Torno.
Talk, please.
Really, you?
I'm trying to find something.
He's trying to find.
We tried to have them designate between Tom Torno, where he's getting paid, like patching and stuff for him out of his salary, and what's being designated out of his one-time. And I felt they got rigmarole is what I felt like, if they, apparently he didn't feel he could change that. But I didn't, I would rather see, if Thomas Torno is Thomas Torno, the road commissioner, I'd rather see Thomas Torno, the road commissioner. If Thomas Torno is the one-time, I'd rather see Thomas Torno Inc., Thomas Torno LLC,
If not, but unfortunately,
T Torno, whatever. I would like to see a different designation between the two somehow. And
Well,
I was told that it couldn't, or, yeah.
when
Sorry.
everybody's done, everybody.
Yeah,
okay. Tom Torno is his business.
yeah.
Right.
Him as road commissioner, you're not gonna see except in payroll,
Right.
because he doesn't do anything, it's his business as Tom Torno.
He doesn't get any extra money.
He
just-
doesn't, as road commissioner, it would be the payroll that you
It's
see,
not.
that's him.
But he is on the
Right.
sheets for reimbursements and.
Well, that's the,
Right.
but that's the gas,
So
right?
I don't
that's what they
understand why one can't say Tom and one can't say T. Why?
Because I don't know, I'm just
I don't
saying.
either. That's all I asked for was a designation between Tom Torno as the road commissioner, which could say T Torno, Tommy, Thomas, I don't care what it says.
RC.
And whatever,
What
and
if they put
his
RC
business.
when it's
Right.
RC when it's.
RC,
Well, we just
Torno.
need to
I'm sorry, Deborah.
That's okay, so that was my thing is, because I'm not always, I mean, that would be nice if it was always under payroll. But as we've seen on this highway department budget, things are not always where they belong. So, I personally would like to see a designation between Tom Torno and Tom Torno.
I
I
think
don't
that-
think they all should be the same.
I think that that's a recommendation that we can make to them. I think it's just a recommendation that we can make.
Right.
My understanding is that because his social security number is him, and his business is him under his own social security number, that's why it's just all Tom Turner, and that there's nothing they could do. Now, you're right, they can change a T Turner or whatever. We can make a suggestion that they change that, and,
Or just our
you
city.
make a note of that. Well, let's have 80 pages of them
But
now.
vehicle, fuel, that's him, they're giving him,
Right.
that goes in personally. Like it would be, if it was mileage, it would be the same thing.
Right, but I mean, that's just what I'm saying is, I look down these pages and I'm seeing Thomas.
But that's his truck.
It-
That's
you know,
his truck,
That's it.
except for reimbursement would be him personally. I mean, I don't know,
Right.
you know, because that check's gonna be written to him because it's his
It's a
reimbursement
clerical.
instead of mileage. You
Yeah, but
know,
I don't understand why it's such a
You
big
can,
deal to
because
have two
I
different.
have a business that when I file my income taxes,
Right,
I do a separate,
you don't do it all on your personal income.
no,
tax.
because I have
Right, it's separate, it's two
um,
separate. things.
well, if you look at this, I think it is goes, because this is his vendor number, so that must go to his business.
Yeah, yes, you have a vendor number.
Well,
I have a
even for
vendor
the
number.
fuel reimbursement, it's 28 if you look at it. I just looked at it and I saw that and I'm
So,
like,
but that doesn't make any sense, because why would we be reimbursing
No,
his
it's
business?
not.
Why would we be
Because he's a vendor.
I thought it was two
Well, we don't
pages.
reimburse fuel for our vendors,
No,
so that would be a fuel reimbursement for him as the road commissioner.
absolutely.
So I'm just saying, that's,
Check this.
now you see why I'm getting confused, because, do you understand that, Laura?
Well, now that I'm looking at it under vendor number, the vehicle fuel says 28 Tom Torno, so his business is being, I assume.
It's
So that's his business, and we're putting the reimbursement for his fuel under his business. And it should be under him as road commissioner, it shouldn't be under him as business, because we don't reimburse businesses and private contractors for their fuel.
If that's, and that's what it looks like to me.
Okay,
So-
so,
So you're right, very good.
all right, thank you.
I was gonna say, probably the easiest way to go about this, if it's really gonna be trying to get the proper paper trail, is to just have two vendor numbers for him in that case. If you need to have him as an ID vendor for, you know, fuel repayments or anything like that, because I know, for example, I know even on planning board, Paul's been listed as a vendor before for fuel reimbursement. It's just the way the system must work, I don't know, but so maybe Tommy does need just two, one under Tom Torno and then one under the business.
That's something we do have to look into.
But it was done that way, I'm just going back to 15, it was done the same way under that number 28 right here.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it was
Now
right.
that you mention it,
No, I'm
Paul,
just
I
saying,
think
I was
should
just
have
looking,
vendor
so-
numbers. Because he
Well, it always did,
works
like,
with
when
Mike.
I was in there, I used to, you go to town report, and you see
So I
my,
guess the question
like,
is vendor
get
numbers.
$3,000 and it was all reimbursement.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
It didn't, you know, it didn't show, it just showed as a vendor.
Yeah, just an add-on, I think that, just because it's the way it always was done, this highway department always has been a mess. And I personally, it's my goal to straighten it out. So just because it's the way that it was always done, doesn't mean it has to be that way next time. And personally, I'd like to suggest it.
Still legal.
Listed under the state of Maine, he has a business that's an LLC,
That's what I'm saying, LLC.
LLC. He told me he used his social security number and he was not, I mean, that was his business and that was it. But it is, yes, go ahead.
So I have an LLC. Okay, I did apply for a TIN, taxpayer identification number, but on my federal, I still would use my social. So yeah, I'm still gonna use my social even for my business.
But you're an LLC.
So
And if he addressed it as an LLC.
he's not
we know
wrong,
exactly
but I'm
what
just
he
saying it's always been non-typical as his business. It's still listed as a legal entity in the state of Maine. So I don't know why it's being listed under his name.
That's right. His name is, what, non-typical?
Non-typical, yeah.
You said non-typical is Tommy Torno.
It's listed under his name.
That's what it was used to. I thought you said last week that it wasn't.
That's what he
Yeah,
said.
that's what it said.
He's an LLC.
Unless you-
liability.
Listen, question.
On his,
Yeah.
unless he sold it.
So, maybe, excuse me, okay.
The
Good.
corporation's still listed under his name though.
Tommy Tano has 2 trucks.
As to
That
what?
I know of, he has a
Is that true?
pickup
Oh,
truck.
yeah,
and
you
he
said
he
has
only
a-
had one.
No, he has two.
And he has the one ton that he uses.
But the pickup truck
But
isn't,
the fuel should be going to the pickup,
right,
not to the one ton.
Exactly,
Okay.
So, and that's what I'm saying, is that when you just look and see Tommy Torno, maybe it's getting shoved under his business, maybe it's getting shoved under his pickup truck. You can't tell because all it says is Tom Torno. I think there needs to be a
I'm not
different
gonna-
designation
I'm not gonna say
between
anything
pickup
further,
truck
that's
and
just,
one ton
that's a
truck.
fact.
but he has one ton, correct?
Right, and that's
That works for the
As far as
town,
I
the
know.
pickup is his
And
own,
he's told me that non-typical has been disbanded, I believe.
I will apologize, because, yeah, my eyes are playing tricks, but it does say administratively dissolved,
Okay,
so
so he.
that's
got rid of
recent,
it.
but yeah.
Okay.
That could be just as simple as not paying them.
That actually belonged to his business partner back along.
Still was listed under his name even at that time, but I'm just saying, that's very simple, you didn't pay your $85, because I would be administratively dissolved if I went past my time too. So it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Right.
We've got to identify it, that, I mean, they have to identify it, I guess
Yeah.
is what we're trying to say here. It needs to really be identified, because it gets more it seems like, the problem I'm having, and I'm sure you are too, the more I look, the worse it gets. The more questions I have, not the less questions, the more questions that I have.
but everybody that gets paid has a vendor number.
They do, and that's it.
Yeah, but wouldn't he get a
That's right.
1099 if he on his vendor number?
Yeah.
If he was just getting a reimbursement, he shouldn't be getting that, right?
Here, well, as a vendor, you should be getting a
But
1099.
if it's just a reimbursement, then he shouldn't.
The reimbursement, my recollection and my guess still would be it should be going under payroll,
Right.
Yeah,
So-
doesn't that go into his payroll?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the reimbursements.
which would be the employee, so this is W-2.
That's right.
So, are these things here, this paper that I bought, are these the suggestions that you made last week after?
No, those are Becky's suggestions that we
Oh,
try
These are
to
the ones
read
that you
and.
were talking.
That I
Yeah.
used
Oh,
yesterday.
okay, so should we put that on here?
I was just looking at the budget and I said, I'm gonna see what can be done. And I was mostly curious about the supply line, which was budgeted $500. And if my figures are correct, they might be off, because I'm not an accountant, but it's almost $4,000 when you pull it out of the different line
All
items.
the different places where it's been,
Yeah,
that's huge amount of money for supplies.
it is.
Now, here's where I get stuck, truly. What the heck do we do? This is the question, what do we do? We are stuck in a place where we're down to crunch. How do we get this stuff fixed? We used to be able to sit here and somebody would put it in the computer and we got a lot accomplished, we're done. It's not getting done that way. I mean, we made a suggestion, as we did the other day. Does it get followed up? I'm not saying it does, I'm not saying it doesn't. What I'm saying is
You don't know.
I need suggestions on what we're gonna do here, because I'm at a loss. I wanna do what's right for the town, at the same time, we are on the crunch. Does anyone have any other suggestions of how we can fix this?
Would Jordan be willing to have somebody come in and volunteer to help him understand this?
No.
But I don't think he can change that without the direction of the selectmen.
Right.
I mean, we can sit
Can I-
there
I
and
can
say,
help.
you need to do this, but, you know.
I can help give you it. Unfortunately, what you're dealing with is the frustration that budget committees before you have also dealt with. There's no, as a budget committee, there's nothing you can do. It is a,
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
as a budget committee, there's nothing you can do. This is a selectman's job.
Right.
You're talking about the highway department, how the highway department is run and how it's accounted for. That is selectmen and treasurer.
All you can
And
do is
department.
make the recommendation.
So you can make a recommendation, but if they don't do it, there's nothing, and so essentially, your only power is your vote on the budget.
That's
That
right.
is the only power you have.
And we don't
If you don't
run all the numbers.
If you don't feel the money is being spent properly,
then you
in
don't-
my opinion, you ought to be voting no. But that's your only power. You cannot say they need to do this, You can make a recommendation to the selectmen, and that's about it. Whether they choose to do it or not is up to them.
Well, I guess, here's my problem. Can anyone tell me how I make these suggestions to the selectmen? I have
But-
two sitting here who will not do anything without the third one. The third one's not here. We go to another meeting, we try and do it there. We're not getting it done.
Doesn't the new ordinance allow us
To make our own.
to make our own
That's what I was just gonna
budget?
say. I
Yes,
think we
it does.
need to-
Yes, it does. You're
Yeah, you
absolutely right.
can, but
So
We
why
have to
can't
do
we do
that.
we're talking about a lot more than that.
I mean, I personally think that we need to have time to come in here again and show him the truth of these numbers that Becky pulled up, because I don't think $4,000 for supplies is a good number. I mean, in all fairness, if we're gonna put signs in there and stuff like that, I'm not really sure $500 is a valid number either, because if you're talking about purchasing signs for roadways and stuff like that, $500 isn't gonna buy much, but I really think that, I mean, I know he hates to come in here, and I know he hates to come into any meeting,
I'll
but
try being nice. If I have an agreement, we have an agreement.
well, I'm gonna teach you how to be.
No, I think you want to.
But, I just, there's just so much, and there's just so much, and we can't, really honestly, when Betty tells you she came in here and she tried to work with those selectmen, she really did, and she's not getting any answers, and then they wind up fighting between themselves, and they're storming out of here swearing, and Betty and we're all just sitting here, we don't know where to go with it, you know, except for that, because of that new ordinance, we now have the right to make our own numbers and present them, whether they agree or not, and then the people can choose, and then if they don't come up with a number, then at least there's a number on the ballot.
In defense
You
of the
know?
selectmen, there was only one that stormed out of here swearing.
I said one stormed out
No,
of
you
this
said
one.
they.
No, I didn't. I
You
said
did.
they were arguing and one stormed out of their swearing.
It's clarified, one is clarified.
Right, one is clarified.
Okay, so, this may just be the year that.
The year of the budget.
The bag, everything comes out of the bag, I don't know what else to do, I wanna do it, I wanna do it right.
So
I'm sorry,
perhaps,
Jerry.
I was waving.
I was kinda halfway in and out here between Laura's and Jerry.
I wasn't waving.
You have to go, now I hear you.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I just want to share this with you because this is my frustration with the highway department. Excavating, 379.5 hours in 1, 2, 3, 4 month period. That's a heap and lot of hours.
100 a month.
So that's at $52 per hour, almost 380 hours.
What's that?
Excavating. Yes, there was a little bit in 7. Fair about, well, this is trucks that have to be there.
Oh, okay.
So we're paying for the trucks. So this is truck time.
So say it again.
So, there were 2 days, in July. There were 4 in September. There were 5 in October, and there were 4 in November. So I don't want to get down to the nitty gritty, but I just want to share some of these hours with you. Ditching, 265.6 hours. And the bulk of that happened in November, August, where most of it happened.
November and August.
November and August. There was some in July.
And we don't know
I guess there
where.
was a fair amount in July too.
We know ditching was done.
You?
That's the
Railroad, probably.
Okay,
Jerry,
but
can I
let
just
me,
interrupt you for 1 second? We also asked that at the selectmen's meeting, and we were told by the treasurer that he doesn't have room to put
Yes.
the road on there.
Just,
And if he has a category ditching, he doesn't need to repeat that.
Ditching.
We want to know
right, if it's
where.
under ditching, there's no
Right,
reason that
you
you
should
can't
put the road.
replace the word ditching.
And that's what I
with road.
suggested,
You know,
was met
well,
with
gully oven, yeah, there's a couple here,
There's a
gully
couple
oven.
we could try.
You can do
road.
ditching gully, ditching,
Well,
It's a category for
You have
ditching,
to
why do you
have
have to keep saying ditching?
Yeah, it's under ditching.
point.
There's no reason to have the word
Absolutely,
ditching, right?
absolutely, you're right.
Unless
Okay.
it's
That
miscategorized,
is-
and then you don't
I'm
know.
gonna skip over mowing. Shoulders, 198 hours. Most of that was in July and August. Which one is this?
How many hours?
198.
And that was in July?
Most of it was July and August, and some in October.
Makes sense.
And it was paving. The least amount of time was spent on paving. 94.33 hours.
Surprise, surprise.
Shock! Dismay.
They didn't do that much
No.
paving.
No.
Just-
Nope.
Was it 2 hours?
Brush cutting was 18 hours. Coal patching has already been 240.6 hours. Coal patching in July, August, September, October.
Coal patching?
Coal patching.
How many hours?
July?
July, August, September, October, November, and
Well,
December.
is coal patching when you,
When it's
When
coal
it's
patching,
pothole.
no, I understand it's pothole, but
240.6 hours.
is, when you do it in the summer, you just filling in the potholes in the summer? Does anyone know the answer?
Oh, yeah, you
That's
fill
fine.
the truck once a week and fill all the potholes.
So that's called coal
You
patching,
wanna
whether you
hear
do it in
the
the winter or you do it
Instead
in
of
the summer?
paving.
Royce would like to.
I'm sorry, Rose?
Do you want to hear the answer?
Yes, please.
Having worked on a road crew, this was my experience that yes, we usually filled a lot more holes when it was warm weather than we did cold.
Okay.
Because you can't work with the stuff when it's cold, it's usually one frozen lump.
But it's called coal patch?
But it's called cold patch, it kind of throws you off.
It certainly
But it
does.
is filling potholes,
Okay,
that's what it is.
It
thank
just
you.
means that the material is not hot.
Right,
I have a
that just
question
means it's
about
not
that,
heated, no.
If we knew which roads and we were doing excessive coal patching, wouldn't that be a road that should be on the list to be paved?
I have one thing to offer also.
Yes.
You have an elected road commissioner, he's an elected official.
Right.
To, I'm not trying to duck any responsibilities, but most of these road issues are his responsibilities at this point.
Yeah, you're right.
But you can control the purse strings.
We control the money,
Yes,
yes,
you do. So
but
don't be.
Laura, we control the money, the money after the townspeople have decided how much goes out there on the budget. And there's
Still-
nothing voted on that's a line item budget either.
You still control the purse strings.
Let me give one more. Let me give one more. And then,
Okay.
so brush cutting, or let's see, tree trimming?
That's
Oh,
contracted.
sorry. Cutting trees. Well, it looks to me like it's the same trucks getting paid over and over and over, so I would say most of that's not contracting. 528 hours
Whoa.
Cutting trees.
cutting trees.
Is that actually?
Cutting trees winter, I mean.
Those are low trees too, they're high trees.
It doesn't say.
Yeah, it doesn't say. So Southern Maine Tool is on there for some, Southern Maine Tool.
But that was,
Abbott-
that was
Abbott-
supplies.
Those are
Category, right, but nonetheless,
Such a chipper.
you know, we have to go with what we've got. You know, patching is in here too. Nonetheless, it still throws it off. Regardless of what it is, whether it's patching or tree trimming, at this point, there's 528 hours just categorized under tree trimming. And there's very little under here that is outside services. There's one thing in here for Abbott, so
That would be
two
top
things
tree.
for Abbott Hill, 3 things for Abbott Hill. So that would be the tree trimming. But that would make hardly enough in 528 hours.
Corinna, did you want to speak next?
Candace.
Thank you,
Well,
Jerry.
where we have the ability to suggest our own budget, may I suggest probably, perhaps a highway committee to get together, like, you look like you're very interested in it, and Becky's interested in it, and that perhaps you should have a mini committee, subcommittee on that to suggest the new budget. And I would also think, as a taxpayer and, voter, that a plan be put in place, because they know the roads that are bad. And so let's say, he had mentioned a couple roads that he wanted to work on, and kind of work backwards. If you know the road that needs to be worked on, what needs to be worked on that road? Does it need ditching? Does it need culverts? Does pavement? Whatever it needs, and do a budget for that road.
Like a road plan.
Like a plan for, and make it a maybe even a 2-year plan. What's gonna be done this year, what's gonna be next
I
year.
think that would be a good
But how would we know how much time it
takes.
takes?
You would have to work with the road commissioner or somebody
It
who
used to be
knew.
done that way years ago.
idea. That is an idea that certainly I'm sure has
That
been
could come
rolling
back.
around more than
It could
once.
come back, right?
Yeah, we used to
I
do
don't know
that.
why it doesn't happen.
I mean, perhaps we should do a subcommittee for just the
I
highway
would like
budget
to-
and try that this year. Maybe do a subcommittee on the transfer station next year and
Perhaps we just
evolve.
need to work
Go ahead.
with the highway.
Just- Just understand that what's voted on is one number.
Yeah.
How they allocate that number, they have the choice. You don't have the choice.
No, we don't.
It's the selectmen who control the purse strings, and it's the road commissioner. So you could have a plan for XYZ road. No,
No,
unless
they
you
should
have,
have the plan.
unless you have the road commissioner buy in
Or
to
the
that.
selectmen.
That was a suggestion to
Select
try to
You
get
know what I'm
that
saying?
out.
Suggestion to
But,
try to
so,
get a more
but
realistic number.
my point is, before you go to all that trouble, I wouldn't do that until you get the buy-in. Otherwise, you're spending all that time
Yeah.
for nothing.
No, we
You
gotta
have
have
to-
this, you gotta have
But,
the selectmen.
since you can put your number down there, that's the leverage that you can use with the road commissioner to get him in and say, hey, we're gonna come up with a number on our own, and we're gonna lowball you if you don't come in and work with us and tell us, why should you have $50,000 for ditching? Because we only think you ought to have 20,000.
Because we wanna have
So
the
that's,
road A, B, and C done this year.
but what I'm saying is,
and
that's how you get him to come in and work with you, is that number.
I'm just trying to say, I'm not trying to push the meeting along, but we do have to move along. And I think that's a darn good idea. But he's right, somebody's gonna do a buy-in, but it's a great idea. The subcommittee we'll talk about in a second. Sean, you have been,
I'm just gonna
Patient.
I'm just gonna put my 2 cents into it, because why not? Yes, there's been a lot of the same ideas and same thought processes going on in this room. Chip's absolutely right. At the end of the day, we vote the bottom line. We're sitting here talking about how things need to be corrected within the budget itself. And that's really solely just so that we can look at it and actually make proper recommendations. So what it's really going to take is a committee, a subcommittee, if you will, who's willing to sit down, go through those expense reports, make sure that we have things in the right categories, and then we can actually make a recommended budget so that it's actually, this many dollars for this. If you have everything under, tree trimming, it's not really justified.
So it's a realistic budget.
so,
Correct, so if you spent already this year, if you spent, say, $5,000 in ditching, well, that's what should be in the ditching line, or, that's where you need to come up with your budgetary for ditching. If you had this much in tree cutting, that's what needs to be here. You can't just lump sum everything into one
I
category.
know, but like I was saying, the committee could say, well, we're gonna do ditching on River Road this year, or we need ditching on Indian Lake Drive.
I
let's say,
love the
we're gonna
idea.
pave it.
I love the idea, but I think that's something that might not be for this
I
section.
agree,
That's
right now.
But I'm right with you.
Yeah,
Did you have, I'd like to make a motion, but wait, go
A
ahead.
quick question. I noticed when I was taking a good look at the budget, that there was a lot of places where it said transfer into.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That was 1560.
So that's that one budget, that number that we vote on, and then they can move around between lines.
No, that's where somebody made a mistake.
Oh,
When they took it in, they took it out.
No, that's not what she's saying.
Yeah, some of the things like, if you have money
It's
insured,
wrong on that.
Yeah?
and you have X amount
You can't
insured,
transfer it.
and then you have X amount in books, and you haven't used all your money in
Actually,
books,
the
you can
select-
transfer it from that budget,
We can all.
because you haven't used it, and you need more insurance, you can put it up into another.
Oh, I thought you was making when something goes in and something comes out. No.
No.
You're talking about
So,
transfer
and that's where,
from?
right, and that's where that bottom line thing comes into play.
Right.
You know, you have, and that's why, for example, in 15-6 or 16-17, or 15-16, sorry.
Excuse me?
so, he's explaining
I know, but
about
he-
those
But
transfers.
Sean has the floor.
I'm trying to
Sorry.
get my thoughts anyways, because anyway, everybody knows my ordeal, so we're not gonna get into that, so.
I don't know your ordeal.
Tell you later.
You don't?
Oh, no.
That, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
We're here for business. But long story short, it seemed in 15-16 that, again, I don't have my book. Long story short of it, last year, it looked like he had unexpended $60,000. Now, if that budget was done properly, you wouldn't have an excess of that much. Now, granted, it's with road, or the highway department, it is gonna be difficult, especially for things like plowing and sanding, salts, because how do you guess what you're gonna get for snow? You know, we're not,
Right, that's right.
if we could predict the weather, you know, we'd be making a lot more money and we wouldn't be in this room tonight, so.
Well, I think that's why originally,
Excuse me, can we raise our hands,
I'm
please?
sorry.
Go ahead,
I
as long as
think
we're
that's
moving
originally
forward.
why we used to have a summer budget and a winter budget. Because the summer one is much more predictable, and then the winter one,
Question, because I'm a little new, was that the way it used to be? Was
Yes.
there a
Yes.
summer highway?
Yeah, it was.
Why did that change? Can anybody answer that?
Go ahead.
The new accounting firm, that was when you were in,
Yeah. You mean the one that we had when I was in?
or the one before, and the one
Yeah.
after.
I think it
They
was
wanted to
after.
change,
It was
to
after.
split it, because you could, I think it's 10 years back, you could see how it's split,
Yeah,
summer and winter.
I think it was right after I left. The
So-
new counter.
Why did that?
Yes.
Well, the
it
accountants
was,
advise you, and that was
they
their
went in
advice.
after you.
Yeah.
So the accountants advised you to put them in one
Not me.
account?
The accountants, yes, that's what he's saying.
by the
accountants.
town.
Advised the town to, not to split it, to unite.
Put it together.
I would think they need new advice.
Ready?
Yes, Vince?
Just to clear something else up here. On these budgets, on all of these budgets, come along the end of the year, you're gonna see once in a while where somebody has transferred funds. It's usually end of the year, about this time.
Yeah.
Something in someone's budget is, there's excess, money hasn't been spent, in other words, but they need it for another spot in their budget to get them through. That's done with paperwork and it's done by a vote of the board,
Okay,
of selectmen.
thank you for that
Yeah.
information.
So that's how it happens, it doesn't just happen, it has to be put with.
They don't do
Board
it,
of
it's
Selectmen.
voted on.
Yeah.
Okay, very, sorry, Ben, I can't say that.
You haven't
These
heard from me
eyes
for
aren't
about
working
15,
tonight.
20 minutes, so I throw my hat in the ring.
Go ahead.
No, but I just wanted to also bring up that as a treasurer, as your financial person in the town, they're supposed to be paying attention to, you know, like GASB, which is the Governmental Accounting Standards Board. Okay, so GASB 34 tells you need to keep track of your assets in the town. And I mean, I won't, because I know you want to move on. There's a couple
No.
paragraphs there that if
Go
you
ahead.
read.
No, I think we're wanting to listen to that, is that correct?
So-
Everyone there?
Absolutely, go for it.
Okay, so in June '99, GASB Statement 34 was published. The GASB chairman characterized the statement as the most significant change to occur in the history of government financing reporting. GASB 34 provides a comprehensive framework for financial reporting with the objective of making annual reports easier to understand and more useful to the people who rely upon the financial condition contained therein. The most significant aspect of Statement 34 was that for the first time, so this is 99, general infrastructure assets such as roads, bridges, and dams were to be reported together with related depreciation or preservation costs. So exactly what Corinna brought up and what was put in place last year and I don't know if you're looking at it there, but the roads were identified or trying to be identified. What are you doing with them? Because those are your greatest asset in this municipality.
I remember Jeanette saying that wasn't,
We
they
have a
weren't
blank
valued, that's part of the
page,
asset
don't
of
we,
the town.
on the roads?
Right.
Isn't there the road, but we have nothing on it?
Right.
Yeah,
I can't get my book. We have a page on that budget, but there's nothing on those roads.
right, because if you look at that, it was put under capital projects, and it looks like it was for prior years that some.
But nothing's on there.
Your road commissioner right now should be coming in before that board, and this has been pulling teeth to get anywhere close to that. They should be coming in and saying, this is my thoughts for next year. You know, that should be all part of your budget right here, right now.
Because it should.
And exactly what she's saying is right.
Yeah.
And then they can have, because they control the purse strings, Laura's exactly right, and they can say, well, hey, no, I think this needs to be done, you know, and they can have that discussion. And yes, it's gonna be
Right, we
possible
roll,
to
they're
log
gonna do
ahead,
it first, yeah.
but they control the purse strings. And so at least the town even has an idea, this is my plan for next year. Boy, if we're really under control, then I'm gonna say, this is my plan for next year, and propose for the year after, because you start knowing, and the town knows, okay, well, I'm not gonna complain, because my road's 2 years down the road, I know it's gonna be looked at, I'm gonna be quiet now, type of thing, you know what I mean?
That's a good point. That people
This
know
is
you're
not-
working on it, they don't complain so
This
much.
is taxpayer funds,
Yeah,
you know?
they can see what you're planning.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sorry, but
No.
But as far as roads, we moved all those to CIP now, correct? Well, that's what you attempted to do.
just the paving,
Yeah,
just
is
the
that
pavement
what you-
itself, yeah, that was.
Is that what you were looking at when you said capital?
Yes, if you actually look on the end of the
That's why
highway
it's put
budget.
aside, besides the
Chip.
budget.
Because that was escaping to one-ton trucks, that 150,000 a year.
Right.
That's,
Well, that's paid now, so where's that money? I haven't quite figured out where that money's been absorbed in there, but it's
For the backhoe?
No, for
the backhoe, yeah, the backhoe's
For
been
the
paid for.
CPIs,
Right.
CIP.
CIPs, I'm sorry, it's supposed to be, it is just, you don't actually see the money, it's in the general fund,
Yeah.
so-called.
Right.
Yeah, but where
It's
is the
in
budget, has any of it been spent?
In other words, the money doesn't get spent unless it goes towards whichever entity it's entered under. In this case, highway.
Right, so has any of the highway CIP been
I
spent?
can't answer you that one, but your
Well, you would
treasurer,
have to
your
approve
treasurer
it,
should
right?
be able to give you an answer on
Yes,
that.
it's in there.
Well, the
And-
selectmen have to approve it. Do the selectmen have to approve expenses out of the CIP, right?
Yep.
So have you approved any expenses to
Not
come
that I
out of the
recall, not
CIP?
recently.
Your chair
Huh?
can
It would have been this summer.
It would have been.
Right.
Right. All right, do you think that maybe because these budgets, I see such a mess, they are. I have to say it, and I think that maybe we should do some subcommittees and then come back with one person reporting what their committee has found and what we need to recommend. Because I don't know what else to do. When I look at,
Well, the
every
larger,
one I look at, I find something that I should have looked at in the one before it.
it's the larger budgets that are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So the question becomes now, who here, we can name a couple of ones that we really need to have
Correct.
subcommittees on and maybe pair up to work on. We have, the transfer station, we have the highway department, you can even throw fire and EMS.
I think we need to throw fire and EMS back in
And I
there.
was gonna say general government.
Well, general government, yeah. general
CEO,
government.
CEO, that could be done as a group, that's,
I think that wasn't,
I mean, trust me, I learned something new, so just trust me on that. CEO needs to be looked at too.
okay.
well, tell us.
I will, after the subcommittee.
Oh.
We're not working on that right now, so I don't want to get out of line.
All right, I make a recommendation that we, do a few subcommittees. Let's say we'll do highway. We'll do, I think we need to do fire again. I think we need to do, fire. What's the other one?
Fire.
Transfer station.
Fire, CEO,
Is-
Right.
And
And
I think
general
that's,
government.
and general government, we don't have anything
that.
yet.
We
We
don't
don't
have
have that yet, so I'll leave that.
That's concerning in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, and CEO?
Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion that we have subcommittees.
I'll second the motion.
How many of the subcommittees aren't there not enough people to do those?
Well, you might have to be on more than one, you might have to be on more than one.
When you have the time,
You might have to be on more than one,
What do you?
and meet another night.
I was
As
just
far
gonna
as-
say that, it's gonna have to be.
So that would be part of our agenda, is those subcommittees would report.
I think we
out.
might even have to do a different night of subcommittees meeting. And we'll do,
Why don't we just finish this year and then make a plan for next year?
Because nothing
Yeah.
happens.
Because that's what happens every year.
you know, that kind of was my thinking. But after having listened to my group and see what's happening, in my heart of hearts, I can't let this budget go the way it's going. So,
And we
I
had the
don't think
power
that can
this
be
year.
done.
We're looking at
I don't think we can do that, Paul. I wish we could. We can't.
You know,
We have the power to recommend.
we do have the power to recommend, and I will say this, you know, dealing with other things in the town, it always seems to be the mantra of, it can wait, we can wait, we can wait. If we keep pushing things aside and not working on it, and not working together in unison, we're not gonna get anything accomplished, and we're gonna continue to be in the same predicament year after year after year after year. And this isn't just with budgets, I've seen it in other aspects of this community as well. And honestly, I know we all do these civic duties to see change, proper change, to make things better for everyone, to make it better for the taxpayers and the people of our community.
We have a good
So-
group to do it too. I mean, we're kind of spread out all over the town.
Different towns.
No, but I mean, the
Yeah.
demographics of the people here at this
Can we-
table aren't.
So we vote on my motion, please?
I'll
I'm
second.
sorry.
I can
Okay,
second.
all in favor? Opposed?
Can we
I
tell,
have a vote.
That's okay, that's okay. I appreciate your opinion and I respect it.
can we pull in outside
Fourth of July.
talent, like, should have been Ben?
That's what I was just
You
gonna
know, if we
suggest.
can,
I think we have to make a motion. I make a motion that we pull in whoever we choose to help us, with,
Whoever
by
will
using
work.
using any expertise that may be able to find from other people to help us in our committees.
Well, and
Judy.
especially department heads, if they would be willing to.
Good luck with that one.
Judy volunteers for all the committees.
It's all on you. You win.
Did you have something to offer, Ben?
Nope.
He's pretending he's not here.
I heard that.
So,
Okay,
because
so
I
there
brought
should
up
be a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt the
I thought Betty
CEO
did.
Wait a minute, I
budget.
made,
Oh, we all voted? No, outside
No,
help.
second one,
No,
outside.
oh, sorry.
outside help.
I'll second
All
it.
in, second?
All in favor?
Okay. Opposed?
Excuse me.
yes, sorry.
Yes?
No, I got you.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Can I shout yes?
Yes.
Yeah, you can.
You're allowed to do that,
Ian's
yes.
busy.
That works, that works.
So I guess I'll make a motion because I brought up the
Go right ahead.
CEO, to establish the subcommittee to look at the CEO budget. So I'll make that motion.
Okay. And who wants to be,
I'll second it.
okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Who would like to be on that subcommittee?
You got two?
I got two.
How many do you
Okay,
think
I'll
you
be,
would
I'll
take?
try and get to all of them. How's that? I'll try and skip around.
Okay, so that's Deb, Laura, and Rena.
Okay. CEO. Could you have the minutes?
Yeah, well,
Right off.
I'll watch the video.
Hold on, she's getting a hand cramp, give her a second.
Oh, all right.
No, I just needed to breathe.
Or Becky.
Okay.
Can we record these and have someone?
We're trying, don't you think?
We
We're
do have an
trying.
ordinance that was passed 3 years ago.
This is
She doesn't-
recorded?
Told it was, we got a
No, I mean,
$4,000. we got a
I mean, so she doesn't have to
$4,000
do all this in
for a
writing.
metric.
I've been told that I could get like a Dragon software that
Yes, you can.
actually
You can talk
records
to.
conversations and voice recognition and,
It wouldn't work here, it would work for you.
You wanna be
very careful,
You have
because
to-
we've gone down that
info
road
behind you.
before, and the man that
Wait,
got
wait,
the
wait,
burner
wait.
that is beside you, so.
Wait. Okay,
You
let
don't
me
want to
say one
record.
thing.
never mind. I can do it.
My advice is, you would never recognize everybody in this room, first of all. But for yourself, oh yeah,
Like
that would be great for you, because you can sit here and read your minutes
That's
and
right.
it would type it.
Yeah.
For you, that'd be great.
Rebecca, I can offer, because I did this,
Yeah.
for a while. I had a little digital recorder, but not that expensive, a little digital recorder I put in the middle of the thing. It wasn't video, it was just audio recording. And because I did the minutes. and I would literally, the next day, I would have to listen to these frickin' 2-hour meetings all over again, but then I can pull out, and I can recognize who's talking.
Right.
And I can then pull out all the information, because I could not participate if I'm also jotting down minutes.
Right.
So it's very, very hard to pay
That's the
attention and do
problem.
that. And
That
so
is the problem.
I would do that, and then I could pull numbers out, I could pull anything out, but if you're gonna do that as a committee member, it is not your property, it is the town's property.
You have to know that. I have a little one you have to use.
What I'm just saying is it was great, I loved it, I loved it, so.
Yes.
But I just want to also, just because I do own that Dragon software,
Yeah.
and so you're 100% right, because I was thinking the same thing during our selectmen's meeting. It won't recognize everybody's voices because it patterns your voice the more, and I have a wicked accent. I don't know if you noticed.
Wicked?
You know, wicked good Maine accent. So it messes up, but that was the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yes.
As an observer, you people need to make a promise to everybody. Only one person is going to be talking. Because if you're listening and trying to pull out what one person is saying, another person many times overrides.
We're trying.
I know.
I think we have an excitable group, and that's what happens, is everyone kind of gets excited.
We're passionate.
That's
Other
it.
committees?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Subcommittees?
Yes, subcommittees, we got one down. The next subcommittee would be the,
Transfer.
highway.
Just pick one.
Who wants to do the highway?
we have to
I'm
make
in
a
a-
motion to create it.
Oh, make a
So I
motion
make a
to create it,
motion to
yes.
create the highways
I thought
subcommittee.
you already created all 5 of them.
Do we have to do that because we?
You already created all 5 of them, right?
Yeah, we already approved.
You said them in the motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I get you.
So who wants to do
Tracks.
highway? If we can write that down.
Highway, we have 3, 4. Oh my. 5, 6.
No, not me.
Who else?
Do we have this correct, Jerry? Will you? She's waving the bin again.
No?
No.
Yes, okay.
I just don't know when I'm gonna,
Jerry?
that's gonna be tough.
Well, you go on the committee set, and then you can schedule it.
So Laura, you're on 2.
That's right. Come on,
Yes, I am. Okay, the next, all right. The next one would be fire. Skip, please.
No.
I'm gonna stay right out of
I
fire.
can't, my daughter.
Fire,
I'll help out with
Sean,
that.
great,
Just
okay.
kind of make sure things are.
Yep,
my
good.
advice. I may not be on it.
So we only have
Well, I
Skip
can
and
go into
Sean,
the
do we want a
items.
third one on fire?
Excuse me, Skip would be really good because he knows what
Right.
the words are.
That's right.
And so,
I reap the benefit of that.
Yes.
I may not be in the committee itself, but I would, like I said, be
Okay,
advisor, as I can tell you.
so Sean, you can run it and he'll help.
I can reach out to.
You wanna be on it too?
No, I just had a question. I mean, you mentioned fire, I didn't think about it before, but I mean, you have some organizations, and sorry for butting in, but some departments have been very, very hard to get worked with and stuff like that. I don't consider fire that. I think if you ask fire to come in, they'd work with you, so.
Oh, we will.
I don't, so my point is I don't see the need to micromanage and to go behind his back.
No, we'd be working with.
But what I'm saying is, let him, he's one of the ones, same thing as Skip, how would Skip feel when you were running, if you all of a sudden, we had a subcommittee that was looking at,
Well, if they worked with you, look.
Right, they're working with you
What I always
behind
wanted
his
was
back.
the budget
We
committee
will be
to come in
invited to the
early
subcommittee.
and meet.
but what I'm saying,
start working
you've had
together.
that, I don't think you need a subcommittee to do that, I think you can ask Dan to come in here.
Yeah, but the problem is that there's 11 voices here that he's trying to.
Well, that's fine.
Not in
But
the
we
have a
subcommittee.
Excuse me.
No, that's what I'm saying, if we have.
We have already voted to have subcommittees to go over that budget. I think originally, we did not get into the smaller items. It was my error. And I think for all of us to feel right, we need to go back over it.
Right.
I would ask you to ask Dan to come in.
He would have no problem going
And,
over the numbers.
no,
with
and
us.
go over them too,
Sean,
and just
I'll get with you.
get something back to us that, and then we can make a better.
Right, I mean, and you know, I did point out to Dan that, again, it was one of those payroll tax issues. His department
I think
was affected by it too, and he didn't realize it either.
I'm
until
sure he
after.
didn't.
So, you know, I just want to be able to go over the numbers
Yeah.
with him in more detail, and in case, you know, if and when I get more expense reports, you know, if there's something that's not in the right place, I can just be like, hey, did you see this? So he knows too. because if
Exactly.
there's- Again, it's just, more communication throughout the town as a whole.
I think that would
It
be
has
good.
nothing to do with, thinking that he doesn't
I mean,
explain
I
his
think we
budgets
can
or anything
invite
like that.
them to any committee. The person we're doing needs to be invited if they choose to
Absolutely.
come.
And you may
If
find
they
that
choose to come, and
subcommittee,
that's a good way to put
Right.
it too.
If
the
they choose.
subcommittee isn't as intimidating as the whole group.
Exactly, exactly.
And
And
there's
because there's so many little columns, I think smaller group can get through them and then everyone, I trust the people in this room, I hope we trust each other, that we're gonna look at it and see what's right and what's not, yes?
I would go one step further and invite the selectmen to our meetings too, if they'd like to participate.
But
They're always invited.
they're working.
No, but if they're interested in
I'm
a
sorry, I disagree
particular.
with you at this point.
Yeah, I think that would be too much, but I think.
I appreciate the invite,
But you're
if I
here.
have time to attend, I would.
Yeah, you're here,
Um,
you would hear the
Excuse me,
reports.
I make a motion that we do not invite the selectmen because I just feel that we've asked enough of them right now. And we need to kind of work on a little bit on our own, I think, and make the motion not to. Does anyone
I'll second that.
in favor? How many,
Who
I'm sorry,
seconded?
did the count?
Jerry,
Four?
Skip, Betty, Deb, and Sean. I seconded.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's the number four?
So
Betty,
5 to 4.
Jerry,
Yeah, 4 to 4?
No, I did
4.
5 to 4.
Yes or no?
5 not to invite.
Okay.
I didn't vote, so
Would you
that
like to vote?
makes it 6.
Okay.
I just think if they wanna come, they should be able to.
If they wanna
They
come,
want
they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't have to require them to come.
Well, no.
If they wanna come, they can come, but truthfully, I don't wanna pay them to be here.
Well, and not only that, but I mean, if we're,
That's a good point.
Come as a citizen.
Huh?
They can come as a citizen,
They
right?
can,
Right.
yeah. But I don't think we need to keep doing this.
Is it considered a public meeting?
I
It's not,
think
it's
we
not a forum.
won't be
No,
going
I was wondering
behind
that
your
too.
house because when we go over
No.
the subcommittee, we're
Yeah,
rushing
here.
the meetings.
Budget committee, you have to
They're
sit.
hearing
You
out.
will
You can have it here, but
That's right, they
I'm doing some- I'm
absolutely
doing
will
somebody's
be
house, so-
invited
I know.
when the subcommittees do their
Next question we
reports.
need to answer.
Right.
So, and then it's a recommendation and that's it, and it's up to you.
Otherwise, we just have to crash the party.
That's it.
Do we get numbers for all the
But thank
subcommittees?
Party crash hours.
I don't.
she's taking the notes.
The secretary.
She had, we did all the subcommittees.
I'm sorry, Jerry, down there.
No, we didn't.
I miss you all the time. Go right ahead.
I miss you too, Becky. I make a motion, we move on with these other two budgets.
Right.
And wrap it up for the night. I think we.
Oh, we have
I
another
think we've done
committee, we
quite a
have to
bit.
do the.
Transfer station.
Right.
Sorry, Jared.
All right, transfer station.
Oh, look,
Keep
there's
your
a lot of
hands
interest in that one. I wonder-
most of it's out of control.
Judy and Sean, is that everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, so. All right, now I know it's getting late. However, I think we need to try
I
and,
think so, yeah.
you wanna try and go over these little budgets, or do you think we've done enough for the night?
I think. How about we can go over them 15 more minutes?
Okay, I know, come on. All right, let's,
This is, and then at 8:30 we can get out.
I think one of the easiest ones is let's just take a look at no spray. Do you either one of you gentlemen know that there's been an increase in that this year?
I'm not considered paid out.
That's been, is it a
Say,
contract? For how many years?
right?
No spray contract. How many
We
years?
haven't paid it.
It's still a 4-year contract?
Selectmen would know that.
We haven't paid it.
Patty,
We haven't.
no spray. I just brought this up to Jordan the other day because there was an addendum to the contract.
Oh,
So it should be paid every year in October.
okay.
And it's a 4-year contract, so we're, 2 years into it, so it's 2 more years to go, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a contract, so that is the number.
That's good.
Once a year, paid in October.
Once a year,
22,000.
$22,199 paid in October.
Thank you very much.
Last year.
22,199, I kind of don't think there's anything.
Not really
Just like
anything we
hydrants.
can do, so we recommend the same number.
Yeah, we recommend the same number, there we go, we know when we do the final vote.
So this is year number 2, Ben, this will be paid in November, in
Yeah, last year
October.
was the first
Okay.
year it
In
went up.
I think.
I think it was last year.
If a selectman wants to walk with me, I know exactly where it is.
Well, you haven't answered my question because I only got halfway through it, but
I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to.
October
So anyway,
2017 is the second year, or October 2016 was the second year?
That was
Seventeen.
talking
so I actually
about-
answered your question before you asked it,
That's what
because I
we're
said if a
talking
selectman
about.
wants to walk out there with me, I can get a hold of the contract and tell you exactly.
Oh, so you don't know.
So I,
No, that's fine.
Can you do
That's
that?
fine.
Why don't you do that?
Mr. Thompson, I'll be happy to walk out there with you.
okay. I just pulled up the door today.
Okay, that is done.
Okay. Could we now talk about?
What's next?
Let's not do mapping, because I have questions about that. Let's do one that's kind of. Relief agency.
Hydrant.
Oh, yeah, that's another one.
Relief, relief agency, our experience, my experience.
Wait, are we, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Are we doing hydrant or relief agency?
Relief agency.
I'm sorry, okay.
We don't have that.
They don't have those.
Okay, make a
We
list.
don't have one at all?
copies of those.
Relief.
I gave you one, Jerry. I
You
never
did?
do. Yes, I did. And that Corinna was the only one that didn't get the expense report for it.
I had 4 pieces of paper.
Okay.
2 of them were hydrant and 2 of them
Pass
were
that
No
down.
spray.
no spray.
And the other one should be the relief.
Okay.
I
Well, I
did
thought we
the
were doing
hydrant.
hydrant, thank you very much.
Sorry, I
214
thought
to
it was-
218 is the contract.
So it's gonna be the same number.
All right.
Okay.
Do you need a copy of the relief agency?
Yeah.
Contract, the last payment is October 2018.
Yes. Give that to him and I'll have to get one.
Hey, you found right making a suggestion?
Yes.
Hydrants would probably be a nice one too.
If you made a copy of that, some of them
I
will
just,
set it for next year too.
It just was,
But now you're gonna have to go
relief
get it next year.
agencies. Now, does everybody understand what relief agencies are? Okay, great.
But there's a change.
I
Sometimes,
keep copies like that, and just move it every year, I move
I
it
mean,
over. so I don't have to
sometimes
say
they
it.
ask us for more money. I know that they have been years, if you
They
remember.
always ask.
They ask us for more than we give them. In light of the fact that I see most of these budgets going up, my recommendation is what we gave them last year is probably good to what we should give them this year. That's my opinion. You can all disagree with me or whatever, just look them over. But remember, they ask for an amount of money. And they're looking at it.
They do, they usually ask for more than what we.
Yeah.
Well, I can,
Yep. Go
I
ahead.
can tell you that, I walk by a lot of homeless people and they are requesting money from me all the time. So it's really my choice as to whether I give them $1 or whether I give them change.
Right.
So essentially, we're doing the same thing. They're asking, but that doesn't mean we have
That's
to
right.
give.
No, we
Absolutely.
don't.
Ask
We
for.
do
Absolutely.
We do give, I mean,
I'm
I'm sure
happy
that
with what's
others are
there.
having.
We give 13,000
Yes,
for a small
need a
town.
relief agency.
That's a quite a bit.
Absolutely, sure. Yes.
I actually have a question on the agency on aging. Because I know that we gave them a certain dollar amount, but part of, and I'm not sure, and maybe you know, Laura, I'm not sure which agency was doing Meals on Wheels in Cut Lebanon out. But we don't have Meals on Wheels here anymore, and I don't know if it's York County Community
No,
Action,
it's not
or is
them.
it Southern Maine Agency on
I
Aging?
believe it's.
But I don't understand why we're giving, I mean, what else do they do here in town? Does anybody know what the Agency on Aging does
They do
here in town? Because I
rides.
know Meals on
Right.
Wheels was
They do
part of it.
Rides, I think they do rides.
But that's volunteer.
Huh? But they come and pick them up.
Yeah, but they're volunteer drivers.
But
they
they
have
use, they don't use
vehicles
their,
and
they don't use
gas.
their own vehicles.
There's gas and stuff that you have to pay for.
Right.
They pay for the gas. I'm sorry, Ben?
Every year, any of those agencies, and then more, actually, will send a letter. Should be coming probably to Sue, I mean, it would be coming to the chair, in years past, and they give you a whole brochure. I don't know if you've got those now, but I would print them off
I
from the
have
former
them.
years.
Yeah,
So
I've
maybe
seen
we
them from
can't
former
use
years. They really do a lot, I can tell you
They do.
that.
They tell you how many families
I mean,
they
I know.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
I think
know
that-
we-
They should have them.
The selectmen, when they
They
get
have
them,
them, the selectmen have them, they
if
get them
you
every
could
year.
give us a copy, that would be great. I don't think you have them yet.
You have to ask your chair about that one, because it's already been set up.
Oh, no, I
think
think
that-
they have.
They usually come in October, November.
I was gonna say.
Line 70,
Royce, what do you?
Yeah, that's normally for
I don't know what you mean.
the new
It's
year.
already set up.
Everything goes to
Their proposals.
to
Their request.
Sue first and then Christine.
We
And then
may
she
already
doesn't
have
share
them
it with
now,
you,
because they wanna get it before your money's spent before the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
Well,
They-
she's able.
Normally, they come in the fall, they come in before the end of the year.
All right, so they probably
they've
have
got
them.
them.
So if somebody would give us a copy of, so that people that have never seen the whole brochure can see it, that would be, make
I
us
just like to
very
know
happy, and I understand that.
Before I approve it.
Any other
Can
questions?
you guys do that for us? Can you get copies of the letters for us, so we see how much they're requesting and what they're doing for Lebanon? Because they tell in their letters,
Yeah, they
how many
do.
people they serve.
So I'd like to make a motion actually to table the
Table it,
relief
yeah.
agency until we can take a look at
I'll second it.
what we're paying for.
Favor, all in favor?
Thank you. Thank you.
I was opposed.
Too bad.
No, that's fine with me. Okay,
Can we do hydrants?
We're doing that now, right?
we wanna do hydrants here.
Yeah.
We are really in a rush to do
Because
hydrants.
it's
Yeah,
so
that's a good one.
easy.
Hydrants. Very quiet about that.
I thought we were gonna do it when you were out of
Excuse me, very
What
quietly.
it is.
It hasn't changed in years, and
No.
I think it should stay that. It's a great deal.
That's right.
The best deal we have.
And we're not gonna say a word about it to
That's
anyone
right.
outside of here.
That's right.
When does that?
That's the only-
What, 99 year?
I think, well, I don't know, but if it's
No,
been
that's
that
all right.
that way since I've lived here.
So we got
We don't remind
So-
them.
So-
Do we have to motion to?
This is.
No, we don't pass that, no, because we do it all at the end of the year.
Okay.
Okay, so that's all.
That's all set. Mapping,
Oh,
I see that mapping really would only use $800.
Yeah, we can get a copy of that.
You don't have copies of that.
Ready? Ready?
Oh, you did?
Ready?
Yes?
Ben?
Yes, Ben,
The mapper was here the other day, so you will be getting a new bill.
what do you think?
I do,
What's the
I
price?
Yeah.
Probably pretty similar to what you just had.
Exactly.
It'll probably runs pretty much the same, and he's coming back a third time, he's coming back again, so.
I thought you might know.
Hopefully,
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
Okay, I just ask a question of, actually, Ben, maybe, so, maybe Sean can answer, because he's budget committee, so I'll ask him. So this guy comes up, whenever we have a new subdivision and stuff, the maps have to be changed, or put in a new road.
I don't have the mapping budget for it, so I apologize.
Oh, would you like
It's
to
right
see it?
here,
I'm
but
sorry.
no, that's not.
But
what
my
they do.
question wasn't actually.
That's not what he does.
Well, that's what, what does he do?
He comes in and all of the real estate transfers over the year.
Right, so if we put in a new subdivision and a new road and stuff, that
Or if
has
you
to
sell
be
a piece
changed,
of land,
right?
or if you sell.
And so he had
a house,
like changed the name on it and stuff. Oh, okay. So,
not the name, just
So-
boundary lines if they were split.
Right.
so if we have a couple of hundred brand new building permits in town right now,
More than
we
likely,
should probably leave enough money in there to change the map.
more than likely, this budget is probably just fine.
Right.
It's been running pretty much.
We
You
don't
gotta
have
leave, you gotta
actual
leave some room for subdivisions.
Right,
so,
question, does anybody have the numbers for what they did 15, 16 actual, because I don't have that anymore. Just adding,
No, it's not.
7,000,
we do have the expense reports from 15, 16, so that's why I'm asking. Laura,
Let's see.
would you mind? Thank you.
$1,402 left over.
you are just
Thank
so
you, on
quick.
top of it. So they had unexpended 1,400 last year,
Yeah, and that's not a whole lot when you get all
and
this.
then looking at,
This year was 50, this,
I don't know.
just ended, it was 5596, so 5,600 is what they spent. 7,000, so there's
I think that
1,400
that's
left.
I think that'll leave it alone.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty
Better
good
be safe.
number.
So what happens to the extra money?
If there is, and you really never know until the end of the year, I guess. I mean,
So it doesn't go into that special account that
No.
holds it for?
So would it make sense
Does
to
go in some.
maybe make it 6,000?
Why would you drop it?
No.
Because they haven't used
You got that
No.
other
7,000 in the
building
last 2
permits
years.
out there, you got a new
No, I
subdivision
think we
being
leave
applied
it.
for on Lower Guinea Road. Yeah, I couldn't touch it.
Hot palaces will be going in.
That's right.
You said it goes
On
in the
Lower
street.
Guinea Road?
Some of it was-
Next year, your house.
Yeah, Hubbard Road and Lower Guinea.
I got a
right?
big garage, I've been
All
thinking
of those
about
funds would just
maybe
go
I'll
back.
rent
Hey, you should.
General fund.
No, not my house.
Build it up enough, they can put it before the people to alleviate tax burden.
I didn't come in.
So
but he's-
they can't spend it without the vote of the people.
All right.
Show up.
We all
So
set
somebody-
with that one?
Is that why you say
Thank
people
you
can't
very
spend
much.
it?
We'll go with it.
But
So
you
what
can't
do we
spend
got
anything.
left here?
Everything is somebody.
Dispatch.
Well, you got 5% capital. So I mean, like trust, you can't put for the people either, they're fully restricted.
But the general fund we always talk about, that's semi-restricted, so
There's 5 different
there's
things.
no unlimited.
I'll stop.
No, there's no free
Better than
money.
gavel.
Right.
Gonna get you an air horn.
So when does the request come in for dispatch?
Well, we
We're
have.
gonna look and see how much it's gone up,
Well,
because it's
It
a,
hasn't gone up a ton.
I'm saving them for you.
But
It
we're,
goes up, usually goes up every year.
we're only halfway through the year when you only have 18,000 left out of a 57.
But-
That was the question, that's what we were.
it's paid by month, it's paid
It's gone up,
monthly.
it goes up.
Yeah, it's a payment that we make, so we know what it's gonna
Right.
cost us.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, here's the current budget. Here's what we spent.
Yeah, but what we
We've
want,
already paid it.
excuse me, I think what we wanna look at here is look back in the past and see how much it's gone up. And could we accept like, looks like $1,000 maybe?
I think it goes up, if I remember right, it goes up 3%.
3%?
Maybe nominally, but it
Sound right?
still depends on the use and so forth, so.
If it were to go up 3%, who's got the calculator on?
So we got another.
Sean,
We have it.
Sean's got a calculator on.
Let's see.
3%,
I
if it goes up 3%,
don't mind me. I've honestly been brain dead, so maybe somebody else should be doing
I
this.
can understand.
Anyone?
What do you wanna do?
What would be an increase of 3% on 57,038?
When did you get
No.
3%?
It'd be the 48.
You gotta go
That's
the actual.
Reserve.
Yeah,
No, are you
That's
talking?
what it- 3% of the
48,
40 what? What am I doing?
57.
No.
48,580 plus 3% equals.
48,580.
Well, what's this number?
Well, you got towers and you got repeaters.
Right, it's
Those are
57,000.
Those
Oh,
are different.
Oh, that's
Those are different.
Those are different.
Those don't go up.
That's not right. That dispatch is the one.
It's a
we have to
service.
I've
worry
got
about.
145740.
I'm confused.
If it goes up 3% from that 48,
Yeah. And it go up $1,400.
It's been a long day.
1,457.
No, I think it's.
So is every, I mean, we could live with the
Well, the
3%.
last time they were reevaluating on the 3%. They were trying to come up with.
I don't think that we have a lot of control unless we go to some other
No, we don't.
dispatch.
We don't.
Us is what we
So I think that as long as these numbers are in the right place here, then I think we can say we're happy with that one.
Is that,
So are we gonna go up on
is that wages? I mean, is
Sick
that,
of dispatch.
it's a fee for dispatch?
But the dispatch, isn't dispatch quarterly, don't we pay that?
Yes.
quarterly?
Yes.
Okay.
We paid 11.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm confused,
Yeah.
and I just need somebody to explain it to me.
Mhm.
So we have dispatch for 57,038,
Mhm.
but the number that you're working with is 48,580. And I'm sorry
Because
to ask you to explain it to me, but I don't
That's
understand.
That
dispatch
top
itself.
line is the whole
Those
Right.
services is the actual.
That's the whole
dispatch.
budget.
That's the 40.
Gotcha. So this will never,
Including this.
this part will never go up?
Well, supposedly we have an agreement.
It will never go up, it will always be 3,000?
Well, not this year, I mean, we have a contract.
No, we do.
we're all
When does
set.
that
We have a
contract
for
end?
what?
It's the end of the year.
How do you know?
Towers.
Because
I will rent the whole
we have, because
Okay,
this is
but
what's
the
until
towers
July.
went up.
Oh, this goes all the way until July, the that's what I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
And the dispatch budget, that's quarterly, so that, we only have 1 quarter left to pay,
Right.
Okay.
And it's going to be the same as last year.
and it'll be the same.
So if the number, when we vote, is, how much did you say, $1,400 more?
Well, 14,756.
Then
14,
That
15.
more than likely, that's what we're going to see the day that we vote, just so that you know.
50,000.
Yeah, I mean, you could round it off just to make it
Yeah.
for.
Right.
But that's what we'll probably see, because we're gonna be we're not voting yet.
No,
Right.
So we're just looking at it saying, okay, fine, if it goes up, it goes up.
right.
There's nothing else to look
So
at.
are,
No fine lines.
up to 50K?
Yeah, cause it's like
Yes.
it's like $49,997 or something.
Right, so 50.
For services, to go up 3%,
We did
Which is
dispatch.
just
Roughly.
line 30.
14,507.4.
What?
3%.
Yes.
Yes, thank you,
Yes.
sorry, I'm with you, I am, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Like, wait, what?
Was that English?
Okay, it's almost 8:30.
It is almost 8:30. Okay,
I just have two more.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so, we did these ones, but my two more questions are, number one,
Yeah.
is that we have to find a place for Lebanon Festival, we've gotta find a place for it. Cause it can't go on, remember we had this conversation with them, it has to go on, they're outside service, they're not a town service. So we have to find a place to put that $1,500, cause it can't go on a separate warrant, it has to go on an outside service budget, cause it's not a town department. And we have to make sure that that gets done. Oops, that won't tell us.
Number 99,
They're a committee
their committee,
of the town.
just like the conservation is a committee.
Well, how come their money doesn't come through the treasurer's office?
Every cent always has. If it's not this year, I have
You're
no idea.
talking about the historical
Oh,
society.
I'm sorry,
Historical
sorry.
side is different. Yes, okay.
Historical Society.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry,
Nope,
you're
that's okay.
right.
Nope.
I was talking about the Historical Society.
Okay.
So we have to figure out where that's gonna go, that $1,500, because it's not a town department, so it can't go on a separate warrant article. It has to go, like, is there other services, it has to
Wouldn't it go
go,
separately,
I
so
think,
people could decide if they wanna spend that.
because it's not, a
Yeah, why
town
couldn't it?
department, because it's not a town
Well, where are you
department.
gonna put it? I
So
guess
you
I don't
can't-
understand where you
If
want
it's
to
not
put
a
it.
town department,
Because
we're not
the
gonna
stuff
put it anywhere.
that, from what I understand, and y'all know, so maybe you
Well,
can tell
not
me.
necessarily.
Maybe. But, okay, so from what I understand, if you put that on a warrant article on its own, that money that comes from taxpayer dollars has to come in to the treasurer's office, and it has to be worked through the budget of the treasurer's office. You can't just hand a private entity $1,500 of taxpayer
Sure,
money.
you do it for an ambulance
Sure you
payment.
can.
Can't
Do
we,
it for
if we
ambulance
vote
payment.
that way, we can, I would think.
You can?
Why wouldn't you?
Do you have to disclose to people that it's not a town entity and that the town has
It
no control
depends
of
how
those
they write it, they
taxpayer
could
dollars?
say to give
then it put it
the
on a warrant, right?
Historical Society $1,500 for the Lebanon
That's
celebration.
$250,
Yeah,
but it doesn't have to disclose that that money is not controlled by the.
Well, you're saying,
the town
well, if you write it to say you're gonna give it to the Historical
Then
Society
You're getting rid of it.
for that.
It's out of your hands.
I mean, if you
Donation.
write it like that, then people will
sorry?
know it.
Donation, maybe you'll just
Oh,
like your,
so as a donation?
maybe like your Red Cross and all the other.
Well, right, but how come those go into the services category? And this would, I mean, I would think it would just be easier to put it all together. 'cause-
But
It's
what
not
if
a
people,
rebate,
but
it's a
what if
separate
people
thing.
It's
don't
not
wanna
a
pay for
rebate,
that though?
Right.
It's not fair to lump that all with that other
Right.
stuff, cause what if people don't
It's
wanna
not a
do
lead
that?
agency.
No,
Yeah,
it's
it's a
not
warrant
a
article.
relief agency.
Oh, I can see.
Doesn't it
Well,
have
it's
to-
up to them,
Doesn't it have to go with the warrant
They have
article?
their own line, 89,
I think it is, isn't it, Ben?
annual
sorry?
festival.
No, no, it's not, we're not talking about the annual.
Miscommunication.
Yes, there was a warrant article last year.
Yeah, what about?
The festival
For
committee.
festival,
Yeah.
they're talking about historical.
But the
committee.
festival
You got two.
committee,
All right, we have a little,
Sorry.
the festival committee runs their budget through the treasury department.
all right, let's just start again, let's start again.
Okay, so let me tell you where the problem is for me personally, is that this is a way to give the Historical Society the money for the 250th, which I have no problem doing, I would vote for it. But my problem is this, it has to tell people that we're handing an outside agency $1,500, and if they make a $20,000 profit, which is a huge number, but just for all sake, right, I know, but I'm just saying, whether they make $2 profit or $20,000 profit, the town realizes none of it. It belongs to the Historical Society. So that's my problem, is that this money isn't gonna be run
I
through
think it
the
has to be a warrant
treasurer's
article.
office.
No, you, but it depends how they write it. They can write it, this is going to be for the July 2017 celebration donation to,
People are gonna vote, yes or
yeah,
no?
Yes,
to
but
the
they don't know
Lebanon
that-
Historical Society.
So why don't we just say, let's give it to the Lebanon Soccer?
Because it's
That's
not up to us,
for
it's not up to
profit
do
too.
that.
Cause
You
it's
can-
not
it's
up to
not,
us.
it's
But
not
you're
really
going
to
profit.
tell, but in the article, you can write it the way, so people will know that.
Well, that's what I'm asking, is will it be written
Well, that's
so
up
that
to the
people
selectmen.
understand that?
know if it's gonna be legal.
Excuse me, that's
Right.
part of our, this
That's
is part of, this is really over our scope.
Well, I didn't know if it
It is,
needed to
it is,
be
yeah.
discussed or if
Totally.
it didn't need to be
Totally,
discussed.
it's up to
Where
the,
put it.
it's up to them,
select.
we can vote
I was
for
just-
it or against
I
it,
get where you're coming from, I do.
Thank you, Sean.
for it or
Appreciate it.
against it, and Sean, did you wanna add something?
No, I was just gonna say, again, it really does depend on how it's written. There's nothing we can really say on how they decide to write the warrant articles.
Right, and it's up to them.
You know, because it may not sound the way it's supposed to, but I think most people, when they see that article question, are gonna go, okay, it's for the town's anniversary. So I don't think any taxpayer's gonna be like, no, I don't
And
want it.
remember,
Yeah, well, no, it's not that I don't wanna do it, I just
Legal
wanna
looks
make
at
sure
that.
it goes to the right place.
Yeah, legal looks at all the warrant
Yes.
articles too, to make sure that
right.
they're worded properly at least, so that there's a better
Now,
understanding.
speaking of voting, okay, I have one question, maybe Laura or somebody can answer me. I recall that when we went to vote, we had the ballot, was it the ballot before us?
We had the warrant questions, I do
We
remember
had
that.
all the warrant questions, we only voted on the ones that were money, correct?
Right.
Yes. Can somebody tell me who produces this piece of paper?
What do you mean?
Right there,
Who produces the piece of paper with the questions on it?
right there.
The selectmen.
Selectmen.
No.
What are you talking about?
Who types it?
Oh, then.
Oh,
It always
She
was,
doesn't know that.
who,
the town clerk?
it never was that way until,
Who does it?
he changed it, I believe. Oh, or not him, but you guys changed it. It always was the selectman's office
Right,
that did it.
right.
Yeah.
You
Should be,
got anyone
because then
to-
it goes
They don't
through
have
legal
anybody
and
to type
stuff,
there
right?
in.
Well, because they, I mean, Sue always did
They,
it.
Yeah.
but they get it under control up there right now.
Okay.
They know that that's coming,
So,
especially with the recent
so here's
resignation.
my
you know.
question.
Well, I'm just saying,
Right.
they asked who, how it was
No,
done,
I
that,
get
I just know that
Okay, so
I never did it, it was always the selectman.
perhaps I need to have a
Jenny did it.
conversation with Laura.
I do,
Dale, because she didn't know.
No, but with Sue's resignation, and I know there's been talk out there that
Okay.
they know they gotta do that.
Oh, okay.
Even if it's
Because
just
I was
filling in
like,
the
she
gap,
says,
they
what
want
you
something
should,
different, but
well, I
it's done.
mean, and she didn't know, she's new too.
Sure.
Right.
And she said, I think your secretary does it. I'm like, no, I don't think so. I gotta find this.